So, Thomas family day at the beach. Who didn't check the weather?
No. He checked the weather, thank you.
It said showers. Why are we here?
Well, because it's the only day to go to the beach. In fact, it's warmer if you just swim in the...
Myth.
It's not an
urban myth. Darling, have I mentioned how great the weather is?
Are you not over this joke? All right, sir. Come on. Oh, come on.
This is terrible.
Nah.
Hey! Hey!
Ooh, very crafty. You don't want to come and make a sandcastle, Mummy? Look, Mary Poppins is coming to play as well, boys. Was it worth it to come, everyone? Yes, Dan.
Buckled up, boys.
No. Right.
Yeah, buckled up.
Camera's on you, my lady. Gloat. Tell us about the day.
Such a bright, sunny day, isn't it? We might just go to the movies or something now.
Oh, yes, movies.
Oh! What is that guy doing? Darling, it's not moving.
Oh, go on. Here. Check it out. Hang on.
Oh, I'm sure he's fine, boys.
What's wrong with him?
Oh, he might have just tripped. Just sit down, will you?
Oh my god.
What?
Shit.
What?
Just drive. Shit, just drive! Just drive!
You know, we have a warning about our next story. It involves an attack that sounds like it came right out of a zombie movie.
Yeah, a man chewed off another man's face, and police had to open fire many times before that attack stopped. Now, we warn you again, this story is disturbing. The description's graphic. Alex DePreto has the story and surveillance video from Miami.
And the guy was like tearing him to pieces with his mouth. So I told him, get off. You know, it's like, and the guy just kept eating the other guy away, like ripping his skin.
Larry Vega describes it as a scene out of a horror movie on the MacArthur Causeway exit as a naked man chewed off the face of another naked man. Vega went to flag down a Miami police officer.
Police officer came over, told him several times to get off, and the police officer climbed over the divider and got in front of him and said, get off. He told him several times, and the guy just stood his head up like that with a piece of flesh in his mouth and growled.
When the attack continued, Vega says the officer fired, but the man continued to chew flesh off the victim. The officer then fired several more times, killing the attacker. A Miami Herald surveillance camera caught the aftermath as the two men lay side by side on the ground.
It was just a blob of blood. You couldn't really see, like, it was just blood all over the place.
The victim was taken to Jackson Memorial Hospital with missing flesh, and according to a 7 News source, his face was not recognizable. Vega says both the men appeared to be homeless, and he believes the attacker may have been on drugs.
He looked like he was on something. You know, he was just, either he was really psychotic or he was on crack.
Miami police have not identified the attacker nor the victim, but Vega says he simply can't shake the image he'd expect to see on the big screen and never on the streets of Miami.
Pretty gruesome. It's one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen in my life in person. You know, you see these things in the movies.
That was Alex DePreto reporting. The victim remains in critical condition this evening. Sources say the victim's injuries are some of the worst that they've ever seen.
We interrupt our regularly scheduled programming for a Channel 3 special report.
Good evening. I'm David Barrows. Jonathan Shaw is on assignment. We apologize for our earlier coverage of the so-called Madison race riots. Reports coming in now indicate the violence is neither racially motivated nor restricted to the greater Madison area. What is certain is that this seemingly unexplainable mass hysteria continues to spread throughout the heartland, with injuries reported to be in the thousands. We now go live to Catherine Lanphier at St. Augustine Memorial Hospital. Catherine?
David, the staff here says they haven't seen anything close to the sheer volume of casualties. Badly injured, very frightened people are pouring in, no exaggeration, by the hundreds. And we're told that most of the injuries are bites, not gunshot or stab wounds, as we were led to believe earlier. Just a few minutes ago, we spoke with one of the doctors that has been on call since this morning when the patients arrived.
We have seen cases of complete digit, finger extraction, deep throat laceration, even a large section of flesh torn away as if by a rabid dog or wild animal.
We've been told by nurses there have been complications.
Almost all wounds have shown immediate infection. Many have went into toxic shock. One patient...
Have there been fatalities?
Excuse me, please. I'm sorry, I have to go.
I was coming home from work, and I saw this woman in the road, and she was moaning or something, so I went out to go see. I thought she got hit by a car or something like that, and I went to go reach out to help her, and she bit me in the arm, scratched up my face, and I just took off. And
Doctors are still at a loss as to the reason behind these attacks, and the situation doesn't seem to be improving. The past few minutes, I've seen 4 ambulances and several cars pull up with victims seeking emergency care. Whatever's going on, it seems to be far from over. David?
Thank you, Catherine. Speculation seems to surround the origin of this phenomenon. And theories include an airborne plague, a toxic chemical spill, bioterrorism, and even a spaceborne virus. And viewers should be advised that there is no official explanation as of yet. Teams from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Center for Disease Control, and Office of Emergency Preparedness have been dispatched to Chicago, Madison, and the Twin Cities. While martial law has not been declared, the governors of all 3 states are encouraging citizens to remain calm and stay at home for the present. We've had no official response from the White House, but it can be confirmed that the president is considering returning from his fishing trip at Jackson Hole. More on the situation as it develops.
Reporting live from Homestead, where tragedy befell an immigrant family. An unidentified man has shot his wife and 16-year-old son to death before turning the gun on himself.
Jesus.
What?
I don't believe this.
What? Is there something with the camera? Just fix it.
She's still moving.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Brody, I'm right in the middle of it. What?
Jesus fucking Christ.
For God's sakes. I thought they were dead.
They're supposed to be. They are. I don't know. She's moving on the freaking gurney, man. Get out of the way. Come on, get out of the way.
Back up here. Get off here! Are you all right?
Jesus. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, just keep still.
The other one's moving. The other one's coming up, too. Take him out! It's not going down! It's not going down! Holy shit! No, this can't happen. This can't be fucking happening!
I think someone's in my house. Call the police. You need to leave.
Good afternoon, I'm Richard Newbury. Reports are coming in that yesterday's rioting in central London have now spread to large areas of the capital and parts of the southeast. These reports started late last night, and we are at the moment receiving unconfirmed reports that London has been sealed off by the military, who were mobilised 2 days ago. We now have this report from central London, which was recorded in the early hours of the morning.
It's quite unbelievable what's happening today. Mass hysteria has hit London. Riots have been happening all day. Nobody seems to know what the cause of the violence is, but it seems to have hit the entire capital. Emergency services are at full stretch, and riot police have engaged in dangerous street battles with violent mobs. Today the military was said to have been dispatched, but we have learnt that's not going to happen. They've sealed off most of London as far as the M25 motorway. But we don't know why that's happened. People are scared. People are terrified.
We have since lost contact with our reporter, so we're unable to bring you a live feed.
Good evening. If you're just joining us, we have breaking news to report right now out of the Kingstown area in Alexandria. We understand that Van Dorn Street is blocked right now by overturned cars, and reports are still coming in from police, but apparently I'm being told it is a zombie attack. Yes, zombie attack in Alexandria. Specifically, we're talking around the Van Dorn Street area. We're told that officers are on their way right now to take you to safety. So again, please take all precautions, stay inside, and keep it right here for the very latest on this zombie attack.
The president wants to make it perfectly clear that this is not a case of bioterrorism. No such agents exist in the arsenal of any nation or known terrorist group. He also wants to stress the need for calm and the respect for law and order. The quicker people can get off the streets and into their homes, the quicker the appropriate federal and state agencies can reach these troubled areas. Although a further call-up of reservists is on the table, our current overseas military assets will remain in place to reassure our allies that this is a minor, containable situation that we expect to see fully resolved in 24 hours or less.
Again, that was Press Secretary William Kaplan with the first official statement from the White House a little over 30 minutes ago, stressing calm and what he assures us is a fully containable situation. I've just received word from my producers that a tape showing one of these random attacks has been dropped off at our studio. I'm being told that the tape contains graphic material and violence, and viewers should be advised.
No. I've done it a bunch of times, man. She's totally just not.
Look at that thing!
She's hot.
No, your turn.
Come on, man.
Both of us
Seriously,
win.
no, it's cool.
All right, you know what?
Yeah.
That's the spirit.
There you go. Just walk up to her, walk up to her. Come on, hit her on the head, knock her out. It's greater from there, baby. Yes. Dude, look at those melons, man. Come on. Are you serious? Look at that. She is so hot. She's the hottest girl in school. There you go. There you go. Come on, man. Use some of those wrestling skills, baby. Yeah, that's it. That is awesome. Yes. That's awesome. Yes.
I'd like to apologize for the footage you just witnessed. I did not have the chance to previously view it, and I'm sure neither did my producers, or they would have never allowed material of such poor taste to be broadcast on this or any television show, especially a news report.
At this time, no comment has been made. They have, however, created a temporary barbed wire fence around the entrance of the building.
You got something going on the back door?
John, there seems to be something frantically trying to get out of there.
I need backup to the rear door now. Stay back. Jesus, I've got a victim back here. I need a medic to the back door right now. Looks like severe lacerations. Hey, get back! Get back! Look, just stay calm. I'm coming in. I've called a medic. They're on their way up here.
Katie, what is going on? Can you describe what's happening?
What the?
Oh my gosh, an officer has gone in the building and I do not know what is going on as of right now.
Stay here. I'm gonna get a better look. Katie?
Yeah?
I think we should go.
Hey, hold on. Give me your hand. Don't let go. Oh, God. Get away.
What the f?
No!
Oh, jeez. Kill the feed. Dump out.
Suspect is heading northwest across Rainsford car park. Received. Victim is on ground. Repeat, victim is down. Stand by for medical assistance. Suspect has left the scene. Heading northwest. Officer is now attending victim. Victim has no pulse. He's dead at the scene. Repeat, dead at the scene. Officer, the victim is up on his feet. Repeat, up on his feet. Officer down, officer down. Urgent backup needed. Repeat, urgent backup needed. Suspect 2 now heading south, east back towards Bath Road. All units on alert.
God! You're so fucking stupid. What the fuck is that?
What the hell is this?
What the fuck is that? Hold on.
It's a cadaver, man.
It's a dude?
It's a dead guy. I'm so
Dude, is he
high
fucking
right
dead?
now.
Is he dead or is he just passed out? What the fuck?
It's a frat
Dude, he's
party,
alive.
bro.
Man, he's alive. He's fucking
It's
alive.
just a frat guy. It's just a fraternity, dude.
Hey man, you want us to call you like an ambulance or something?
Drunk. You're right. Hey man.
Dude. Whoa, what the fuck? What the fuck? Holy fuck, Michael, fucking, Aaron, what the fuck? Holy fucking shit! Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god! Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Fucking shit! Holy What the fuck?
The Prime Minister has dismissed claims that violence reported on the continent is in some way linked to civil disorder in Britain, although it would seem we are in no way isolated in our reports of widespread rioting, which has been reported throughout Europe and Asia, where many governments have declared a national state of emergency and appealed for help from the international community. We have a report we believe to be from an Italian news station recorded sometime over the last 2 days, which was subsequently leaked onto the internet, which I think we're now going to show. However, I must warn you, this footage contains disturbing images.
Siamo in onda? Buonasera, siamo in diretta dalla città di Napoli, dove tutto sembra essere peggiorato. L'esercito ha imposto il coprifuoco e tutti sembrano essere agli arresti domiciliari. Questa epidemia sconosciuta sembra essersi diffusa molto più rapidamente del previsto, nonostante i tentativi del governo di bloccare l'accesso del paese e di tentare l'uscita di questa epidemia dalla città. La città di Napoli sembra essere un campo di guerra. Molte persone la notte scorsa hanno tentato di lasciare la città. Ma non tutti ci sono riusciti. Alcune persone si sono dirette verso sud, provocando così numerose code sulle autostrade.
The Italian Prime Minister has strongly denied the validity of the footage and called it a shameful attempt to undermine the government.
Now tonight we want to turn our attention to the latest media beat-up. This time it's not climate change or budget cuts or border protection. It's zombies. You heard me right. zombies. A number of media outlets today have been reporting that there is a zombie outbreak. In fact, Twitter has been lighting up with people claiming to be followed by literally thousands of zombies. So right now, why not talk about it with a biology professor, Dr. David Burns, and Dr. Burns is with me here in the studio. Dr. Burns, is a real-life zombie apocalypse on its way? I'll just get you to repeat that. I think the microphone's playing up a little. Once again, are we on the verge of this apocalypse? Okay, we may be having some technical difficulties here. Dr. Burns, thank you for your time.
Hello? Hello?
The human mouth is full of millions of germs, and most people don't practice good dental hygiene. So naturally, any bite is going to become infected, no matter from whom. These people don't have some sort of voodoo hoodoo disease.
Yes, but Dr. Collar, how...
Look, David, what you fail to realize is that most of these so-called experts are looking in the wrong direction. The problem is not chemical or biological, it's psychological. What we're witnessing here is the spontaneous combustion of a pent-up rage fueled by frustration over a pressurized society. It's the snapped postal worker on a national level.
Well, how can you explain that
Look, in my new book, USA Bomb.
Look, I'm sorry, we have to cut away right now. I'm just being informed that both Istanbul and New Delhi are reporting sporadic outbreaks of violence, similar to those here at home. And clearly, this is no longer an American... We're just getting a picture from our BBC correspondent. Over to Trevor Hanna in London. Trevor?
We're in Notting Hill, a part of London. Who knows if this report will ever be transmitted. Communication is at best limited. The city, it seems, is being overrun with man-eating creatures. And...
They're coming!
Run!
Shit! Run!
Like most stations, we're experiencing technical problems with our satellite connection, but we'll try and follow this situation and bring you up-to-date information from the other side of the globe as it comes.
We are getting reports from all over the country that the recently deceased are rising up. These undead are attacking anything living, which is rapidly swelling their numbers. Advice from the police is to stay inside, lock all doors and windows, call 999 and stay as quiet as possible. If caught out in the open, run. Do not walk because they are much faster than they first appear. Do not confront them because any bite or open wound could spread the infection.
Now, we'll shortly be going live to our correspondent in India, where there have been reports in the past 24 hours of a deadly disease spreading rapidly across much of the country. As yet, the cause and nature of the disease are unknown. We now go to our India correspondent live in New Delhi, where the situation is rapidly worsening. So, what is happening there on the streets, Jason?
Well, yes, Richard, currently the disease is still unknown. We have had reports of rapid infection followed by toxic shock soon after the victims' hearts have stopped. However, these reports are largely unconfirmed. It also seems that mass hysteria and panic has turned into violence, causing mass riots, involving literally tens of thousands of people. We've also been told that victims of the disease have become very violent and also responsible for hundreds, if not thousands, of deaths. It is also said that they attack any humans that they come in contact with, even friends and family.
Do they know how the disease is spread yet?
No, unfortunately, we still have no solid evidence of how the disease has spread. Although anything at this point would be pure speculation, doctors, however, have been trying to examine victims in the quarantine, but this is proving to be difficult because they are not able to be sedated properly and they are very violent, despite reports that victims have been dying within hours of contracting the virus.
Do you have any idea of the current number of victims in India? Have the Indian government released any of that information yet?
Well, yes, as you know, India has one of the biggest populations in the world, and this disease, we've actually been told this disease has spread across the Mumbai slums already, and there's been reported outbreaks in at least 5 other major cities. There's also current estimates by the government that indicates that there are 900,000 casualties in the last 24 hours.
So what warnings and help are the Indian government giving the people?
Well, the Indian government is urging people to stay calm and stay indoors. They've been told people not to go near any victims, only to go out in extreme emergency, and otherwise people to stay in their homes at all times. All foreign nationals have been told to return to their countries as soon as possible, and all inbound flights have been diverted away from Indian airspace.
Well, I'm afraid we're going to leave it there. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Richard.
We're joined in our studio now by Alec Charles, spokesman for the Ministry of Defence. Mr. Charles, thank you for joining us. Now, do you think the military's handling of the current crisis has been sufficient?
Yes, our response to the crisis has been swift. We've been working hard to bring the situation under control, and we're doing everything possible to contain the problem. I can confirm that a buffer zone has been set up around London to ensure the violence doesn't spread any further.
Yes, but Mr. Charles, the government has been heavily criticised for not redeploying military units stationed overseas here in the UK. Now, these troops account for a large percentage of our military strength. In light of the worsening situation, will this option now be reconsidered?
Our forces overseas will remain exactly where they are. Our commitments haven't changed, and we've assured the international community that Britain will not be bringing her troops back home. This is a global problem, and our forces overseas are needed more than ever before. We're confident that here in Britain, we can restore law and order with our existing level of troops.
But surely, Mr. Charles, this can't be the case. Many people see the creation of this buffer zone as separating London and parts of the south of England a clear indication that the military have in fact lost control and that millions of people are being abandoned.
That is absolutely not the case. We've installed martial law across the whole of the south of England. There's a 24-hour curfew in place. People have to stay at home for their own safety's sake until this problem has passed.
Now, we've had unconfirmed reports that all military units and emergency service personnel currently operating south of this buffer zone have in fact been ordered to withdraw. Now, how can you possibly expect to maintain a curfew if any kind of law enforcement has been withdrawn from this area?
Gangs of rioters in their thousands are swarming through the streets of London at the moment. They're destroying buildings, they're attacking people indiscriminately. At the moment, we're in a strong position to stop the violence in its tracks. We've got the buffer zone in place, and that acts as a vacuum between the rioters and the rest of the country, enabling us to control and contain the violence, which is our highest priority.
It's widely thought that these riots actually began in London. Now, if this was the case, surely swift intervention by the military working in conjunction with the emergency services would have been enough to contain the situation and keep it limited to London. However, we now know that London has been cordoned off by the military and no attempt whatsoever is being made to intervene. And in fact, to restore law and order in the capital other than that already being made by London-based emergency services.
Before this widespread violence reached Britain, dozens of other countries affected with similar outbreaks of lawlessness and rioting, including the United States, decided to impose a national health hazard, and they attempted to quarantine the affected areas. Having information about this in advance of any rioting breaking out in this country, we decided, because of that, to proceed with caution when approaching the problem.
I'm sorry, Mr. Charles, I'm unsure exactly what it is you're saying. Are you trying to say to me that we're dealing with a breakdown of law and order, or is this in fact a pandemic?
We're not sure at the moment.
Okay, well, I think we'll have to end it there. Thank you for your time.
Прием, 9-2. Могу его видеть. Стреляй, товарищ командир, стреляй! Двое его преследуют. Подлетаю, 70 градусов на юг. Еще один. Их уже 4, которые его преследуют. Их уже 5, товарищ командир. 5. Двое справа. Третий вышел из здания. 5, товарищ командир, 5. Стреляют, товарищ командир, стреляют. Его поймали. Их уже 5, товарищ командир. Третий вышел из здания. Стреляют, товарищ командир, стреляют. Это твой поймали. Кто его преследует? Оставайся на нем. Держи его. Господи, мне это что не нравится. Улетаем отсюда. Бедняга пропал. Возвращаемся на базу.
Take you back to breaking news in Kingstown in Alexandria. Right now, police are on the scene of a confirmed zombie attack. We're told that this zombie attack is in the area of the Edison High School, Hayfield High School, the Kingstown Town Center area near the movie theater as well. We're told specifically those in the South Center area of Kingstown to be on high alert. Again, this just in, police on the scene of a confirmed zombie attack. I believe we have some pictures right now from the scene we want to bring you. A zombie attack in the Kingstown area. Keep it right here for the very latest as with this breaking situation unfolds. Police are urging you to stay inside, take all precautions. They are on the way to help you right now to take you to safety. Keep it right here to this news station for the very latest.
We now have word on the situation in New York. All bridges and tunnels to Manhattan are being destroyed, and a barrier of Coast Guard craft is taking up position around the island. We don't know, however, if this is to keep people from getting in or getting out. We should have footage from New York shortly. State and local authorities are urging communities to form clean and sweep teams. We'll now go live to Monroeville, just outside of Pittsburgh, where one of these sweeps is currently underway.
Danny, come on. Put another round on that woman over there. She's a twitcher. She's a twitcher. We get these twitchers. We shoot them, they go down, they keep moving. We can't tell if they're dead or not. Head, dead. And we sure got a lot of them today. But you know what the bad part of all this is? I know some of these people. I know some of these people that we're putting down. Well, what are you gonna do? Has to be done. One of these guys was a real estate agent. He sold me my house. He was over there. I guess he's over there now. Anyway, that woman right there, I think I did her. Can't reach Philadelphia. The AP wire. This can't be right.
We have some startling information from Fran Parker, live at the Hammond County Medical Examiner's Office.
Fran, what I'm about to show you is one of the most horrific. Stand back, and I told you, please keep your distance. You can see how dangerous it is. No person has survived this disease. And I can assure you that every victim that has come into this hospital has turned out just like this. They have died on the table.
Okay.
What has happened though, is that they have actually come back from the dead.
So you're telling me this man has come back to life?
I know it sounds absolutely impossible, but what we're talking about here is reanimation, but of dead matter. Look at this one that I was given an autopsy to. During the whole autopsy, he never stopped moving. And I took out his heart and half his digestive tract. What I'm trying to tell you is,
Oh my God.
the dead are walking. That's all I can say.
Well, how are people supposed to protect themselves, Doctor?
This is the most contagious disease I've ever seen. What I would say, and I'm warning you, everybody, do not come in contact with any of these zombies.
And there you have it, David. The dead are alive, and there's no cure, and there's no explanation, and there's no nothing. Oh my God! David, cut away! Cut away!
Get away from him! Get away!
My friend, this is what happened. I can't let this happen to any more people. We need to stop this now.
Oh my God.
We need your help. We need your help. Please help us. Please help us stop this crisis.
Oh my God!
I'm told we're now going live to our military correspondent.
I'm just outside the town of Sandy in Bedfordshire. Sandy has a population of about 12,000 people. About 4 hours ago, the army moved into the town, including the troop I'm currently attached to, in order to aid the police in this evacuation.
Well, what's happening there now? Has the evacuation been successful?
Well, as you can see, the town's directly behind me. The military have left the town and withdrawn to one of the outlying hills, so it appears as though the evacuation has been abandoned.
Well, do you know why? Are those gunshots we can hear in the background?
Yes, we've been hearing sporadic gunfire for the past 20 minutes, so it seems as though the pandemic has reached us here and the military are engaging those affected.
Victoria, do you think the military will be able to contain the situation?
Well, as I said earlier, the population here is 12,000. The military detachment assigned to the town was 50 or 60 soldiers, most of which we lost contact with at this stage, so it doesn't look good. We're now deep inside the buffer zone, which is a huge blow to the army's efforts to stop the spread of the virus.
What's happening now?
I think some of the soldiers have just withdrawn from the town. Let's see if we can go and have a closer look. I think they're down here. We just need to get closer.
Victoria, can you hear me?
On me! On me! Get up the stairs! Move! Oh my god! Oh, stop! Oh my god!
Well, it appears we've lost contact with our military correspondent. We'll try and pick that one up again later just to see how the evacuation is getting on. We apologise for any technical difficulties. In the past hour, the Home Secretary has held an emergency press briefing at a secret location in order to clarify the government's stance on the continuing violence.
As you have been watching on today's emergency news broadcasts, there has been widespread public disorder and rioting across large parts of the south of England. The situation appears to be a repetition of the civil disorder which has been widely reported across America, Asia, and many European countries in the last few days. The cause of this widespread violence is as yet unknown, but it's become apparent that some form of virus may be responsible. Reports from hospitals in the affected areas are so far reporting large increases in people being admitted with severe injuries attributed to the widespread violence and rioting, suggesting that whatever the cause of this breakdown in law and order, the risk to health from the virus is minimal. At this exact moment, a team of government scientists are on their way to the affected areas to carry out further investigations into the causes and origin of the outbreaks. In order to contain the escalating situation and maintain law and order, we have declared a national state of emergency, implemented martial law in a number of areas, and introduced a curfew effective from 7 p.m. tonight. We urge members of the public to comply with these measures for their own safety and to assist the emergency services with the aid of the military to control the situation. We would like to reassure the public that this is a short-term measure which will be revoked as soon as the situation stabilizes. Details of all areas will be shown following this statement. If you are in one of the worst affected areas and concerned for your own safety, we have set up emergency evacuation centres under the control of the armed forces. Details of these centres will also be shown after this statement. I'm sorry.
Yes, in that the circulatory, respiratory, and other vital functions have terminated, these subjects are technically deceased. Please just let me get through this and then I'll take questions. The infection is spread through direct fluidic contact. It must enter through the bloodstream through an open wound. Infection duration depends on the size of the wound and its proximity to a major blood vessel. Reanimation will occur no later than 1 to 5 minutes after the victim's primary life functions have expired. Once reanimation has occurred, the subject will respond with immediate homicidal aggression.
It's clearly it's clearly a shocking development unfolding. You're going to want to keep it locked in here. You stay with us all night.
Good evening. This is Emily Michaels reporting live from 88 Tactical, where a zombie outbreak has just been discovered. Luckily, the situation has been contained, and action steps have been taken to ensure no further contamination.
Hold on. What do you say? I thought you had everything under control in there. Well, hold on a second. No. You said we were safe up here. No, we're not good. No, we're not good. We are not good. We are not. This is not good. We are not good up here. You go do something. Go help him. This is not. Where are you? Where are you going? Move. Get out of my way. No. They're coming up here. They're coming up here. He said we were safe. You said we were safe. Oh my God. No. No, please. No, please. Please, no.
Are we transmitting? Are we transmitting? Point the camera at me. Point it at me. Just roll. Okay, things are out of control down below. The city of Los Angeles is like a war zone. These creatures, these zombies or whatever the hell they are swarming the city. People are dying in the streets by the thousands. And the freeways, right now the freeways are hopelessly clogged. There is no way out of the city. We had to come up here into the Hollywood Hills just to find some refuge. I think we're safe for the moment, but I'm not going to stay long. Right now, the LAPD has pulled out of South Central Los Angeles entirely and is trying to form a defensive perimeter around Beverly Hills. But I don't know how they're going to stop these things. If you're hearing me, stay away from Los Angeles. The city is out of control. The city is lost. Avoid Los Angeles at all costs.
I'm sorry, we had to cut away. We need to go now live to the White House press room for an emergency military briefing.
A state of emergency has been declared in the United States of America, including all overseas dependencies and the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. For reasons yet to be determined, the bodies of the recently deceased are returning to life and attacking the living. The scope of this epidemic is now reaching global proportions. The President has sent to Congress a package of initiatives which will be explained by the Secretary of Defense, Mr. Martin Emery. Mr. Secretary.
As of 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the President has declared the continental United States under martial law. A nationwide curfew of 7 p.m. tonight has been put into effect, and any citizen caught outdoors between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. is subject to arrest and detention without counsel. All reserve military personnel and National Guard are ordered to report for immediate deployment. All law enforcement, firefighting, and emergency personnel will be federalized effective immediately. All communications facilities, including the use of landline and cellular telephone facilities, will be reserved for military and rescue operations. In order to halt the spread of this contagion, our nation's borders to Canada and Mexico have been sealed. No longer seek shelter in private residences, no matter how safely protected or well-stocked. Retain all ownership records of private property, but do not attempt to transport or defend said property. Rest assured, looters will be prosecuted with deadly force, as will any attempts at vigilantism or secessionist political activity. No questions.
That was the Secretary of Defense with the announcement that the dead are somehow coming back to life. And I've got, do we have those rescue stations yet? Well, find them, please. I need those rescue stations. Fine. You know what? Fine. I'll get them.
Someone find the goddamn rescue stations now.
We have been issued by the government a map detailing all affected areas and a comprehensive list of all evacuation centres for those areas where the military are attempting to evacuate people. These will be displayed shortly, and viewers should look out for their area if they reside in the southeast. We'll shortly be going live to a press conference by the Centre for Medical Disease Control. But first, we have this video, which has been submitted to us through our website earlier. Unfortunately, due to the amount of traffic we've been receiving, our website is temporarily down. However, we are working to get our online services working again as quickly as we can.
Has he gone outside? Yeah. I can see him. Get back inside. What is he doing? They can't even get back inside. Oh, f***ing hell. Is he back in? In? Yeah. Oh, they know we're in here now. Come open the window. Come open the window.
We now go to an emergency press conference by the Centre for Medical Disease Control.
It was announced earlier today that government scientists have been dispatched to affected areas to conduct further tests. Once again, we urge members of the public in affected areas to avoid hospitals and not to seek medical attention, other than that provided at the nearest evacuation center set up by the military. At this point, we believe a virus is responsible for the violence. We've had several confirmed reports of victims being declared clinically dead by doctors attending the scene and then returning to life within minutes of this diagnosis with seemingly murderous rage. Adding to this, it appears as though some victims reported to have died from natural causes. The number of cases of this so-called reanimation is now thought to be in the thousands, and we believe it is now spread beyond the military's buffer zones. Anyone infected with this virus will attack those uninfected on sight. I can only urge members of the public to stay in their homes and avoid contact with anyone you suspect carrying this virus. At this point, we do believe the only method of contraction is through direct contact with an infected individual. Many of those patients admitted to the hospitals or who have reported to evacuation centers have been carrying terrible injuries, the most common being bite marks and deep lacerations. So at this point, we believe the virus is spread through either the blood or saliva of the affected.
We seem to have lost it there. I'm sure you would have found that announcement as shocking and unbelievable as I did, although events we have witnessed within the last few hours seem undeniable. We've had reports that people all over the southeast are forming vigilante groups in an attempt to defend their homes against these violent mobs, although the military have condemned people taking part in such activities and stated that anyone caught outside in areas where martial law has been declared, or any person found to be engaging in public disorder, will be met with deadly force. One of our reporters recorded this interview in the last few hours.
Do you think what you're doing is right? What do you mean? Taking the law into your own hands? We're just keeping people safe. by killing other people?
Look, if we don't kill them, they'll kill us. It's that simple. These rioters won't stop for nothing.
Don't you think you should leave it to the police to deal with this situation?
Yeah, but they don't. There's been so many times where we've been there and the police ain't.
You don't think you're adding to the violence?
No. We're just protecting our community. We don't go out looking to start trouble. If anything, we prevent it.
There's been reports of groups such as yours forming all over the country. What do you think of this?
Well, it just shows that the authorities can't be relied on. It's good to know that people are taking a stand.
The government are calling you vigilantes.
Well, they can call us what they want. We're not going to stop until this is over.
My name is Sandra McAdams. I was reporting for WPKX over at Layden's Tree Farm in West Greenwich, Rhode Island. But it got overrun. So if anyone finds this, please just... I think they're getting close. Oh God, I'm gonna have to make a run for it. Oh God. Oh God, they're everywhere. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer.
Give me the camera.
Everywhere, man, everywhere. Defend the farm. Die. Swarming on. They're coming from everywhere. On the left. On the left. Get on the truck.
Current estimate in the U.S. puts the number of dead at over 10 million. But this is, many would consider, a wildly conservative estimate. Regarding the entire world, I can't even begin to give you a number. One bright spot to report, we now have a tape of what to do if you should find yourself assaulted by a reanimate. Can we roll that?
Now, 5, 4, 3, Kurt!
He's up!
1!
He's up!
Ladies and gentlemen, in the background, Brett will now demonstrate on an actual Romeo Lima Foxtrot both hard and soft points. Brett, go ahead.
If you're going to shoot him, if you shoot him in the leg, it'll slow him down. It'll bring him to his
Stay
knees
on him,
and go
guys.
right back up. You shoot him in the chest,
Easy, watch it, Brett,
that'll
watch it.
slow him down, but he'll still come back. There's only
Watch
one place to deal with this monster. You shoot him in the head, right in the head, between the eyes. That's how you get him.
Watch it, Brett. Stay on him, guys. Stay on him.
What we're going to be doing is working on a female zombie. A little bit different. If I anticipate this right, she's going to be coming out. Give me a female! Okay, watch very carefully. Hey! She's down, coming. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Watch, guys. Everybody clear? All right. Some of you males may find this somewhat disconcerting to have to engage a female of the species. I did. It took a long time to get over it, but it's necessary. This is three, mind you, multiple suspects coming from opposing directions. This is not fun. This is scary. You'll all go through it. Stay with me. Watch very carefully. Okay. Kurt, are you on? Yep. Brett, you on? Handlers, Tom? Standing by, sir. Okay, stand by. Cut him loose. Okay, bring it in, guys. Stay on him, stay on him. Watch, they're getting up. 3, 2, 1. Clear! Clear! Ladies and gentlemen, what you've just seen here is not pretty. I don't enjoy this. I don't think you will either, but it's a necessary evil, if you will. I don't know anything else to tell you about this.
We are live with the last functioning military unit in what remains of Minneapolis. In Minneapolis, the origin of the infestation. The situation is bleak, with armies worldwide suffering massive casualties and resources. Nearly all those responsible for the original outbreak are among the dead or the missing. The military commanders have suffered a series of losses against which they are beginning to identify as a highly adaptive hive mind. Now, as you can see behind me, military forces are preparing to enter this barricaded building in order to locate a biophysicist who may have information on the location of what they are calling the Queen. The situation looks tense as these remnants of the U.S. fighting forces are preparing a last-ditch effort in order to stop the infestation at its source. Get back to the bed!
We have just received another video clip submitted through our website, which is now active again. We believe it was taken from inside a rescue station somewhere outside London in the southeast and contains graphic images and scenes of a violent nature.
Leave now! This is a restricted area! I told you to get out! Leave now! Move! Out! 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 Turn that camera off! Get back!
It would appear from this report that the military have lost control and have largely been overrun in many areas of the southeast. We've also been receiving reports that a large percentage of evacuation centres and rescue stations in the southeast and in the military buffer zone have now been compromised. We have at this stage lost contact with most of our reporters and are relying heavily on information submitted to us through our website and online services. We have this footage submitted to us in the last few minutes by one of our viewers. This also contains scenes of a violent nature.
Get back inside!
Please help my daughter.
Don't come any closer!
My daughter needs help.
Hey!
Some truly shocking scenes there from an anonymous sender. It appears as though the military high command charged with restoring law and order have lost control of some elements of the armed forces who are meting out their own justice on innocent members of the public. We've been unable to contact the Ministry of Defence to question them over the accountability of the military or for an answer to this shocking video. We're now joined by Professor Peter Kentworth, a former government advisor on emergency internal affairs. Peter, in light of events in the past 24 hours, do you think the government has handled the ongoing crisis well?
Well, I think the key to the question, Richard, is 24 hours. This epidemic has gripped the whole of the south of England in just over 24 hours. I mean, this situation is unprecedented. We now know that we are facing a global pandemic which has affected hundreds of countries all around the world in just over 2 or 3 days. No country has anything in place like this to halt something that has spread this fast.
Yes, but we've experienced epidemics and pandemics before, so what's so different about this? I mean, how has it spread so fast?
Well, I'm afraid I can't actually answer that. We have had very little information about the virus, apart from a few key symptoms, which are quite frankly horrifying to say the least. We're not even sure if it is a virus. Look, if you look back at past pandemics such as swine flu, it took months for it to spread around the globe, and vaccines and treatments were available. I mean, this has simply spread too fast for anything like this to be put in place.
When you talk of horrifying symptoms there, what are you referring to exactly?
Well, it's obvious that the mass rioters and lawless mobs that are being widely reported in our major towns and cities are people affected with the virus. However, we have had reports that the virus kills people within hours, depending on the method of contraction.
Are you suggesting then that the virus has differing effects on different people?
Well, I think the only conclusion that we can draw is that every single one of these rioters has contracted the virus and died from it as a result. These people are coming back from the dead and are attacking the living.
Surely that's impossible. I mean, you're saying that some form of virus, which estimates say has killed over 1 million people in the UK alone, is making the dead return to life.
Well, we have seen undeniable evidence in the last 24 hours. People who have witnessed these savage attacks are in no doubt as to what is happening. Also, several countries have reported this as fact, including the United States. I mean, there simply is no other conclusion.
Do you think the military will be able to contain the situation?
Well, I think after the events we've witnessed today, at the speed that the virus is spreading, despite the military's best efforts, I'm afraid it will spread to the rest of the country within 48 hours.
Peter, what would you say to worried members of the public watching this at home? I mean, what should they do?
Well, what we need is for everyone to stay inside, no matter how serious the situation may get. This curfew should be implemented nationwide to slow down the speed of the virus. However, widespread panic has set in and people are trying to escape the chaos, which is only going to speed up the spread of the virus. Look, I'd say this to everyone out there. Please, do not...
Oh, God! No!
Richard?
Lucas, are we on? We're on.
Yeah, we're still on.
It's been confirmed from several sources that the destruction of Shanghai and Hong Kong were the result of thermonuclear explosions. Whether set by the Chinese government, a rogue faction of the Chinese military, or the Russian government in their promise to aggressively defend their borders is still not and may never be known. Within the next hour, we will be transferring responsibilities to the emergency broadcast system. We believe, although this has not yet been confirmed, that the President and his cabinet have already left Washington, D.C. for an undisclosed, secure location. We now have an audio, some would say, final audio message to the American people.
My fellow Americans, this republic faces a crisis like no other in its history. While the lights across this great land dim and the darkness of an uncertain future descends, let us not forget the words that led our country through another great challenge. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. We will endure. We will rebuild. We will drive away the night and warm our children in the dawn of a new day. God bless you all. And God bless the United States of America.
Honey, I'm coming home. Get the kids ready now. I'll be there soon.